Casual Magic has been brought to you by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can get cool stuff. Use the code CASUAL for 5% off your order. We're also sponsored by Quiver Time, makers of the Quiver and Bolt deck cases and other fine card-holding accessories. Use the code CASUAL on their site for 10% off your purchase. And by Architect, a deck hosting website that doesn't sell anything, but they like me and I like them, so kindly use them for all your deck list needs. Now, on to the show. Hello and welcome to Casual Magic, the show where we talk about the fun side of Magic the Gathering. My name is Shivam, Casual Magic is brought to you by Architect, Cool Stuff Inc., and Quiver. Today I have one of my dear friends back on the show for a second time, the Crim Fandango himself, the Crimothy, the cromulent Crim. I thought of the world's worst joke right before we started recording, which is, what do you call a group of demure players sitting at a table staring at their decks?
Criminals?
A crimposium.
Oh. I guess that works too. A crimposium, criminals. Kind of the same.
Criminals. That's a good one. Anyways, my dear friend, one of the MTGGoldfish cohort, my fellow ambassador, and just all-around good guy, former Bay Area dude.
Yeah.
My boy Crim. Hey, man, how's it going?
It's going all right. Just getting, just hanging out, getting ready, looking. I think right now at the time of filming, we're seeing Fallout cards coming in. We just had Doctor Who cards, so some pretty cool stuff.
We are right in the middle of the fall rush for Magic. It's like, remember WoW was all that many days ago?
When was that? That felt so long ago.
It's so long ago. I mean, as of recording, Doctor Who came out like a week ago, and it might as well have been like months, right? It's
yeah.
Weird.
Day like a few days is like now, like it's almost like dog years, you know?
You get 7 sets for every 1 set we used to get.
Yeah.
Oh man. But you know what though? We're living like, there's this idea that, yeah, we're getting flooded by product, and we are, it's real. But at the same time, it's like a golden age. Like, we are getting some of the best designs we've ever gotten. Magic is feeling really cool and wild. You sit down at a commander table, and it feels like 2011 where you have no idea what any of the cards do.
Yeah. I mean, people said that, right? They wanted to go back to like, oh, do you remember the days when you had no idea what was in a set? Well, now you don't, because there's so many. Do you know where we are? So the monkey's paw kind of curled, but I think we got what we needed.
You know what? It's wild though, because like, it's so cool that even now, even with sets that have come out and that I've played a lot on standard or limited or whatever, and I still have no idea some of these cards are coming out of these things.
Yeah.
Like, wait, that wasn't like today, just before recording, somebody showed me a legend from Doctor Who that's a mono green humans, but it's an alien dog soldier. And
I love that thing.
What the hell is, I have all 4 decks. I've never seen this card. What the hell is going on? It's wild. I love it. I think we're living in a grand time. If we were less invested, this would be one of the coolest times to be a Magic player.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's kind of like weird. We have we're at this crossroads right now where some people are thinking like, okay, well, you know, like there's a lot. It's hard for me to stay attached to the like what's going on right now, but at the same time, I'm thinking of all my friends that didn't care about Magic before. All my friends that had like not even the slightest bit of interest. But now, because of the announcements of all the universes beyond, all this other stuff, it feels so cool to finally have like a chunk of my friends that did not give a crap about Magic before.
Right.
Care. Yeah.
I mean, we started to see it with like Warhammer was the big one that started for me. Like, and even Street Fighter, like a bunch of my friends picked up the Street Fighter cards and were like, okay, this is sweet. I want to make a Ryu deck. But then, like, the Warhammer decks came out, and suddenly it's like all these people who know what Magic is but never played it were like, what, I can have a Necron army? Let's go.
Yeah.
And then, like, Lord of the Rings came and did that, and, like, all of these, like, people who were like, well, I'm a fantasy fan and a Lord of the Rings fan. I guess I'll check this Magic thing out. Oh, my God, this is awesome. Like, my own son, he loves Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and he was like, wow, look, I can be Sauron. And I'm like, you sure can. Let's go. And I don't know. It feels like all these people are suddenly flooding into the game in a way that's just really cool and exciting.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Who, I'm a little worried about because if you hand one of those decks to a newbie, they're just gonna lose their minds. They're so weird.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When you see things like, the face of Bo and all this other stuff, right? Like, it's definitely jarring if you grew up with Magic. I'm sure we both did here, having like what started, I guess, in like Odyssey. I don't know, Onslaught or something like that. But yeah, like the art has changed, right? The art has changed. Some of it is very jarring when you look at it. If you hold an old card like a Sliver Queen, and then you bring up like the 10th Doctor, right? But like, as wild as it is, to me, it's not something that is ever like I've always sat there, like, hey, what could make it inside Magic? Right? Like, what universes could go inside Magic? What kind of IPs? What other worlds? I used to fantasize about that. Like, whoa, how cool would it be if I had, like, I don't know, a Spider-Man deck or a Doctor Strange deck, right?
When I was a kid, I wanted a Son Goku Magic deck so badly. Like, and then they came out with the Big Eyes Small. What the hell was that? There was a really stupid anime card game in the 90s.
Oh, there are many of those.
It was based around El Hazard and like a bunch of other just terrible like third-rate animes. And that's when I realized I didn't want an anime card game anymore.
I could understand that. Anime card games have always been kind of spotty. Like, pretty bad, actually, right? When it comes to design.
Until, like, One Piece, they were pretty miserable, man, right? Like, most of the anime card games have definitely been like, you're going to buy this because you're a fan, not because you want to play this game.
It was such a cash grab.
Yeah, like, even the Final Fantasy card games sucked.
Do you know there's a new version of it? And, like, I saw it, like, the cards, I've seen it, I own a few, I use them as tokens, the card stock's nice, but, like, other than that, it's kind of,
yeah.
Right?
It's like Japan has so many good game designers and none of them make card games.
Yeah, I don't understand why that is either, because, like, it recently just changed, right? Like, I think finally, like you had mentioned, One Piece, we finally hit that point where Bandai games, which I used to avoid like the plague.
God, yeah.
And like but now it's like the One Piece card game just has perfectly culminated, like it's like every failure that they had prior, right? It felt like growing pains, right? And now finally they're like, hey, maybe we should like actually get into the card games, right? When you have an IP like One Piece, you had the live action, right? And now you have like Lorcana, you have all these things. You have so many card games. Even like Digimon that just recently came out. Still a Bandai game that I would avoid now, but like what it did was that it had a very innovative resource system, right? So you're now seeing lots of card games do lots of things, and I think like a lot of card games are trying different things, and that's why I really like where Magic has gone, right? To tie it back to Magic, I think that now you're seeing like, okay, we're seeing that world, right? Where I was always like, oh, how sick would it be if like Final Fantasy were in Magic the Gathering, which is not a joke anymore. Right, it's not like I have to go to get meet like RK Post or something and get an altar made.
Right.
This is a real thing now, and it is a real card designed by the people who love the game.
You know, there's going to be a Yoshitaka Amano Final Fantasy card or 30 of them. And
if
they're
there
be serialized, and we're going to die trying to get them.
If there isn't, is it not just going to be a lie? Because we had the War of the Spark Lily, right? Which is insanely pricey now. I did not know how much it is normally, not even
It
foil.
was insanely pricey when it started, bro. It just only has gotten worse since.
Yeah.
But can you imagine how much like an Amano Terra would cost or an Amano Sephiroth?
Oh,
Sephiroth
God.
is going to be like
Sephiroth
mortgage your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
wait,
I would give so much money for like Final Fantasy Tactics. Okay, so let me pull back because I don't want to get too distracted ADHD-ish off here.
Yeah.
First off, right now we are living in a weird resurgence of like card games, it feels like, because there's like obviously Magic has just kept going, it's chugging along, but we've had things like Flesh and Blood show up, Lorcana has come and become like the huge hit, One Piece came out of nowhere. It feels like there's just a dozen games that are just suddenly bubbling up where they were just like super niche before, and it feels like you go to a card store and there's like just a bunch of people playing a bunch of different games, and it's really cool to see. But like someone was complaining to me, it's like, man, if you've got Doctor Who versus my Necron deck versus his Street Fighter deck, it feels too much like Smash Brothers. I'm like, you know what? One of the best party games in the world is Smash Brothers. You know what people like to do? They like to take their action figures and beat the hell out of them into each other.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it was He-Man versus Voltron, right? Like, then it's, it's Mario versus Solid Snake or whatever.
I did the same. I had WWE versus my Marvel figures.
Right? Like, come on. You know that, like, Wolverine is, like, bodying Jake the Snake Roberts or whatever the hell is going on. But, like, okay, yeah, my wrestling references are, like, 40 years out of date.
Dude, it's okay. It's okay. By now, mine are too, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin giving a stunner to, like, I don't know, Cyclops.
That was when we were in high school, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's got grandkids now, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's why it's, like, wild.
Right, but, like, the idea for me of being able to go and have all these one thing somebody told me the other day, which has stuck with me, is that Magic is one of the strongest game engines in a long time. Like, it's a game engine that can support any number of games, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can have Lord of the Rings, you can have Final Fantasy, you can have all Fallout and Doctor Who and whatever. I think if they hadn't started with Walking Dead and they'd started with literally any other IP, I think Universe Beyond would be like, everybody would be like, hell yeah, let's go. But because they started with like the worst one, everybody's like,
Funny thing is, a lot of I've had this discussion because back on with the Goldfish guys, right? We had this podcast and I had discussed and like early on, I was like, I think Universes Beyond might be the best thing to happen to Magic. That was my hot take, right? And that was right with Walking Dead starting and all that stuff. I actually think no matter what it was, people would have already reacted to it like in a sour way. Because it was just
it's
not
Magic players.
If it was Walking Dead, if it was like, Bill and Ted, it doesn't matter. Like the point here is I think people, Bill and Ted, the Magic Secret Lair. I think it was going to be bad no matter what, right?
Although I would pay good money for a Keanu Reeves career Secret Lair.
Oh,
give me
John Wick.
Give me Bill and Ted. Give me like, I don't know, a Walk to Remember, whatever weird Matrix.
Yo. If you're telling me, I would kill for a set where John Wick kills the multiverse,
Wouldn't
you know what I mean?
In the world's like John Wick versus Gerard. Let's go.
John Wick dumpsters Urza and Yogg. You know what I mean? With a pencil, of course.
Oh my god, that would be the hottest deck ever. But yeah, I think you are like, I think I was really hesitant at first because I'm like, oh, this is just a dumb cash grab. But then I realized I'm like, you know what? What this actually is giving them really cool things. I mean, we're still getting real Magic.
Yeah.
We're still getting like a million sets. Ixalan's coming out. Woe just came out. Woe is one of my favorite sets in a long time to play. And like Dominar United. And we've had a string of amazing core Magic sets, so they're not going away.
Yeah.
Just getting extra crap is just candy, right? Like, it's cool.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, okay, so maybe we are speaking from a different perspective, right? Because we are so enfranchised in the game, right? So one thing I like to think about is like, I think maybe it's just because we're so into it. I love being in spoiler season. I love seeing all these new cards. I'm probably going to forget half of these, right? But I like seeing this. I like knowing that there's always something on the horizon. You know what I mean? And I enjoy that. So that's why I know that a lot of people are kind of burnt out. There's definitely product fatigue. But I think the one thing is I don't think I need to buy every single one of these things, right? Like there's just some that are like, I don't know or care about Fallout, right? But like there's been a lot of spoilers today, right? Yeah, but you know what? I'm happy that this is out there for somebody. And I think that, we're still getting those cool sets. It's not like Magic has chosen to stop doing those sets. We're actually going to go and adventure into cowboy world where Oko's going to be a cowboy, right?
Or whatever that racer world sounds. Or the Redwall one with the like baby animals. Come on, let's go.
Yo, Twisted Metal, the Magic version. Like I'm here for that. God,
it's gonna be hot.
This is so wild, right? And I think that what happened here is Universes Beyond has now made it so that we can have a lot of those things, right? Like before there was like this like line where we can do wild stuff, but I'm not too worried about breaking of the immersion because I technically think we've been breaking our own immersion way back. Like I would argue that original Kamigawa kind of not the same as the rest of Magic.
Well, yeah, like think about it. You go from Mirrodin to Kamigawa. Is that not the most jarring possible transition you could get? Like that's like old Magic going into Weebland, right? Like,
Right.
It's like what?
It's technically like the past, right? So it's
Right. but it didn't
Kamigawa,
feel anything like that.
right? And then you move to Mirrodin, where it felt like this, like I don't know, this robotic like wasteland, right? Where there's lots of other stuff, and it's just like I don't know. I mean, the immersion has
But, like,
always been broken.
Right, and like Lorwyn was a complete twist
yeah.
of the. Yeah, I mean, it and for me, like playing Chandelar is really what fixed that for me when I was a kid.
The game?
That it was like, oh, you know what? Like I'm a mage. Travel the planes. My deck is all these creatures from all over the universe, the multiverse that I can summon and cast. So why shouldn't Sephiroth be one of those things? Why shouldn't Doctor Who be a thing that I can just? I mean, okay. It is a little weird for me that they're like real world things.
Yeah.
Like, because I find that a little weird, like Earth and like, magic. But at the same time, but you
is
know
it
what
though? Is it weird?
But well, I mean, okay, yeah, it kind of is though. But the thing that got me though, watching Doctor Who previews. First off, I don't care about Doctor Who. I actively don't even like it. Like, it was never my thing. I've watched a few episodes. I was like, this is fine, I guess, whatever. But watching my friends lose their minds over every last little thing, I was like, wow, that's so cool. But guess what? This is a set that I can sit out. This is like a preview season that I can just like barely keep track of, like pay attention out of the corner of my eye and be fine. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I've wanted the whole time. Just a breather.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, look, Doctor Who, Fallout, whatever. Like even Lord of the Rings, I was like, okay, Lord of the Rings is different because everybody likes at least some tier of liking Lord of the Rings.
I don't.
I don't either. I respect it the way I respect the Beatles. Like my favorite band's favorite band, right? Like all my favorite fantasy authors like Lord of the Rings, great, but doesn't do a ton for me. But it was still like, at least with like Who and like with Warhammer and whatever, I could just be like, those are cards that exist. And not really trip about it. And then if a card shows up that I'm like, oh, that card is going to be sick in my deck, buy a single, throw it in the deck. And people are like, yeah, but aren't you mad that your decks don't like have uniformity? I'm like, bro, my decks use old bordered, white bordered lands. They use cards from pre-7th edition. They use secret layer cards. My decks are already like a chaotic mess of like frame treatments and colors and everything.
Yeah.
Adding David Tennant isn't going to change how weird my deck looks.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I
it's
fully
already,
agree.
Like, I've already got a walking ballista wearing shoes, right? Like, what do you want me from?
I guess that's like kind of like, maybe this is good or bad, but I think Magic's had 30 years, right, to make its lore, to establish its lore. Yeah. And let's not lie here. Like, right, like I think it's okay at best, right? Like it's okay. And I know I'm sorry to all the Vorthos, but like I would say that, it's kind of paper thin, right? So, to put it lightly, I think it's always been kind of paper thin. I read the books. Don't worry, I read Scourge. I remember the bundle packs that came with all the books. I read them. Right? I read Judgment, Apocalypse, whatever. And with all of that being said, I think the show, like they needed an anime, man. They needed an anime, a mainline way. Like I know this is. I'm obviously a guy wearing has a shirt with Sailor Moon on it and all of that and like anime stuff in the background, but like we needed something to cling on, just like how, example, to this day people still love Pokemon, they still love Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Why? Because there's an anime. Or it doesn't even have to be an anime. Give me a TV show. Just give me a TV show, right?
Or like a video game or something.
Sure, yeah, anything. Like, and that's not Chandelar.
I don't hate. Chandelar's awesome.
Look, I respect Chandelar, right? I've seen what it is, but like I need something a little bit more, right? and not quite Magic Legends, a little bit more than that too. But I will say that I think because of how weak its lore is, why not? We know the one thing about Magic. You mentioned this earlier. It's that its core system is so good now, and it's been tried, right? It's been tested. And now we're seeing all these universes kind of get added to it. And that's dope, dude. I'm sorry. Like there's a reason why so many card games use what Magic has, right? They draw such big influence. Every current game that's come out has definitely drawn some form of inspiration from Magic.
Every single card game has been like, this is how this guy would fix Magic.
Yeah. Right?
Like every one of them is like, that's Magic, but we use different ways. Like, but instead of playing land, we cycle our cards, or
we
instead
put
of,
it face down.
Exactly, right? Like, I mean, think about it. Flesh and Blood is basically Odyssey Limited the entire game, right? Like, it's like you're cycling your cards, throwing them away, and it's super spiky all the time.
Yeah.
Lorcana, if you took away the Disney things, is literally Magic Light.
It would be, right? Like, it's like Magic without instant speed, right?
It feels like Portal, right? Like, better than Portal, but Portal-ish.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like, it works.
But like at the same time, right? Like, this is why I think that because of all, like, how good the system is, and like you had mentioned, every game is just like, oh, well, this is what I would do to Magic. It just shows you how good of a game Magic is because everyone can't keep its name out of their mouth. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, dude, hey, Magic this, Magic that. Well, you know what? This does better than Magic. It's just like, yo, dude, like, you got to give Magic its roses. Right?
Well, it's like when Street Fighter was like, the king of the arcades, right? Everybody's like, oh, well, I'm trying to be Street Fighter, but our characters are real. We've got fatalities instead of Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Sure, Mortal Kombat, sit down. But
I do like Mortal Kombat more, but
woo! Look, man, I'm my heart is Capcom. That's just the way this goes.
Look, I love Resident Evil, so just one interjection here while we're on this, please, Wizards, please make a Resident Evil Secret Lair mini drop, whatever, to go with the Haunted Mansion set. Come on, dude, please.
Silent Hill, how sick would that be?
I love Silent Hill. Silent Hill 2, probably one of the best. There's always the argument, right?
Oh my god, I want
better.
Castlevania. I want Castlevania now.
Castlevania, I'm sorry, I'm a noob because I love the anime. The animes make me want so much more of that world in a current game. So I agree with that. But like, I'm sorry, the best horror
Have you played
game.
Symphony?
Huh?
Have you played Symphony of the Night?
No. What is that?
Symphony of the Night, literally the greatest Metroidvania ever made. B, the greatest Castlevania game of all time. C, the greatest PlayStation game of all time.
But
it's literally one of the top 5. Symphony of the Night is maybe one of the 5 best games ever made. If you haven't played that, it is phenomenal.
Better than Resident Evil 2?
Oh my god, are you kidding? Resident Evil 2 can't even carry the box art.
Yo, hold on. All right. I will not have Resident Evil slander on my
okay,
watch.
Bro, if you really want to pilot some tanks around, we can talk. But, Symphony of the Night, though, is seriously, though, the best 2D game ever made, is basically all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't played it, it's worth your time, and it's on everything. Just $5, get it.
Okay.
I'll send you my copy. It doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, I can't imagine it being hard to find, but if the point is, though, there is a new set coming out, and it looks like it's going to be scarier in Innistrad, and it's going to be in a mansion. You know what else is in a mansion?
Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
Disney.
Not that. You know exactly where I'm going with this, too. Oh, come on.
Luigi's Mansion?
Okay, actually,
you want that
I do love
drop.
Luigi's Mansion, and I will also accept that. But Resident Evil,
Maniac Mansion? We can go back to 1985?
No, it's Resident Evil. But yeah, I think that's the main thing. I want to see more. I think overall, I guess I don't know your stance on this. I got to ask you what your stance is on this, because you know mine. I told you where I'm coming from. What do you think of Universes Beyond? I know you've come to like it now, right? And it's been out now. We're kind of just in the motion of it. What do you think of it now that we've gone this far in?
Yeah, I think now, where we are now, I think it is a fantastic idea. I think I was really, what sold me? Honestly, what sold me on Universe Beyond was literally seeing how they did the Street Fighter characters. And when you see Ryu's Hadouken is like an untap symbol because it mimics a quarter circle forward. And I was like, oh, you have figured out how to take a video game and transfer it to Magic in a way that makes sense for the video game and Magic. Now I'm on board to see where you guys go. Lord of the Rings and Baldur's Gate were both phenomenal sets that completely captured their source material.
Yeah.
The Warhammer stuff killed it. 4 of the best decks they've ever made put together. The Doctor Who stuff, every single card was a full representation of something from 60 years of that history. What WotC has shown me is that for all the criticism we give them, they are amazing game designers, and they have figured out how to take things I like outside of Magic and put them into Magic in a way that looks amazing. So, like, my dream would be to see, like, a Wheel of Time Secret Lair or a set like that, or a Dragonlance, or, like, you know, like Brandon Sanderson verse. Give me, like, some of my favorite fantasy novels and stuff. Bring them into Magic in a way that makes sense. That would be cool, because I know they can do it. Or, like, Mega Man. How sick would Mega Man be as a Secret Lair? I wouldn't want a full Mega Man set, but, like, give me 9 cards with the monsters or everything. It would be hot. I think the fact that they've been doing it between, like, Secret Lair, like, here's 6 cards from this setting, like they did with Fortnite or whatever, or what the hell is a League of Legends show?
Arcane.
Arcane, whatever. There was that Secret Lair for that, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, they've done we're just going to give you some commander sets, like they're doing with Fallout, like they did with Warhammer. And then they're like, we're blowing it out like they did with Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, by having these 3 stages, that means that you can take small properties that are, like, not going to give you a full friggin' set and still be able to give me a couple of cool things that make me feel like, oh, look, man, I can play as a Pinkie Pie in my Magic deck or whatever the hell. I think that's rad. I think that means that there's so much more wide space open. Like, if some weeb out there went there and made, like, I don't know, a Power Rangers Secret Lair, how hot would that be? You've even got the 5 colors already.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you pretty much do, right?
Right. You've got Green Ranger, Red Ranger, White Ranger, Black Ranger, Blue Ranger. Boom, you're set.
We gotta show love to yellow. Yellow can be like white,
Gold
right?
Ranger. Come
Gold
on.
Ranger. Yeah.
Pink Ranger.
Okay. I mean, you're seeing it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you can do it. I mean, I think that they've got I think it's sick. I think it's so cool. And so I was talking to some Wizards folks, and because I was like, tell me what's going on in Final Fantasy. And they're like, I can't tell you anything about Final Fantasy. And I'm like, okay, fine. But what I did learn is that because, like, what they've told us already, the Final Fantasy set's going to cover all of Final Fantasy.
Thank God.
And it's like, and it's not just like, you know, because, like, how do you pick a Final Fantasy game? If you pick just 7 because it's the hottest stuff, people are going to be like, well, what about 14? What about, you know, Lightning? What about, like, my Chocobo? You know, whatever. And I'm like, dude, but if they go through, because Square Enix is Square Enix, they're going to be like, no, you have to talk to everybody. And all these people have different licensors and they're all going to help you out or whatever. All I know is that I desperately want to see a Final Fantasy 1 Black Mage show up in Magic. I want to see Chocobos. I want to see Meteo. I want to see, like, a Spoony Bard. Give me all this crap, right?
Vincent.
Like, feed me Tetramaster. Whatever you need to do. Give me freaking Blitzball. Oh my God, I want Blitzball so bad.
Blitzball, but kind of Godzilla bordered, right? On Strixhaven Stadium.
Yes.
Right? I've oh God, like I was so happy, just like you had mentioned, they can't just do 7, right? Because I'm so tired of 7 getting all the all the merch.
Fine.
Yeah, it's good, right?
I'm a tactics guy. FF Tactics is my game. And I'm hoping they go there because I need that to happen.
Oh,
but, like, FF14 is hot. FF12 is, like, amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where are you at? What do you want to see out of an FF set?
I mean, I want to see 10. I want to see 14. Yes. I want to see
10
9
more than any other Final Fantasy.
That game is so much fun. I can't believe I didn't even know. Did you know that you could actually win Blitzball?
Do you know that when I was in college, my friends and I, my roommates and I, kept notebooks of the stats of every player. We tracked it like it was real sports. We had graphs. We had everything. We were betting on the leagues. We literally, I know we can win because I won. You know what, man? Blitzball caused me to fail out of college.
Dude, Blitzball is so hard, dude.
It's so good. Dude, seriously, Final Fantasy X came out right during finals week or whatever that year, and I ended up just bombing out, and I had to, like, take all the summer school to get accepted back into Davis again. And it's like, I graduated a year late because of Final Fantasy X.
I get it, you know, like 14 did that for me, except without graduation, more so just like everyday life, right? Like I was just gone. I was sucked into the MMO, right?
Like,
so
how hot would a Diablo Magic set be?
I mean, I feel like that's already a setting, like, that already exists in Magic, so it would transition, like, and it wouldn't even take that much to mesh into the world, right?
Right? Like, you go to Innistrad and just make like, ooh, look, here's some devils and stuff, and call them Diablo, let's go.
Just have Tybalt, just a bunch of Tybalt friends and like things like that. I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure whatever's going on, the one thing here is like Universes Beyond, like you had mentioned, is just killing on flavor, making it function and work inside the game. Like example, I don't know anything but about Fallout, right? But somebody, do you know the dog meat Everloyal?
Yeah.
The most adorable and sweetest new commander. So when it enters the battlefield, mill 5 cards, return an aura or equipment card from your graveyard. Then whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. So somebody told me the lore behind this, and now I love this even more. They said, I actually really love dog meat as a commander, even beyond the cuteness of it. The deck is apparently supposed to be flavored around you, the player, picking up equipment and items. And Dogmeat is someone that'll always be by your side, the command zone and battlefield. And I'm like,
love that.
The flavor here is phenomenal. So
also, junk tokens are hot.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh dude, yeah, they are.
That deck looks so sick. I am so excited for that one.
Yeah. For those that don't know, a junk token is an artifact. Tap it, sack it. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. That is
incredible.
Right? Yeah, the flavor of this is insane. And the border treatments, I know that we've gotten like 50 new borders, but like when it's specific to some of the franchises they pull from, like I may not know Fallout, but I remember the interface mostly from the meme, like everybody liked that, right? And when I see that on a Magic card, like I definitely like, yo, these are made with love, right? The fact that Doctor Who was made with TARDIS borders. I cannot wait to see what they do with the Final Fantasy borders.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine. What's that going to look like?
Yeah,
what do you do?
What do you think the serialized thing is? Like, so you have the one ring, right? What's the gimmick? Right. What's the go-to, right? Like,
Okay, so I think if I was going to bet on serialized for Final Fantasy, I think what would they do, man? Like, you would have to take like one hero from each of the games? Maybe?
So, like what they did with the Doctors, right? They made it so, like, it's serialized, like, one is out
501, 502, whatever.
Yeah, it leads up to the number, right? Like, because the 10th Doctor is 510, right? So,
right. What would you do? What would you do for serialized? Because they're going to serialize it.
I thought about a Buster Blade, right? Like a fancy serialized, like, special border, like
iconic weapon from each of the sets?
Because, like, right, would that not, I feel like that's, what's the iconic thing? It's either that or like a serialized Chocobo or a serialized Moogle.
Serialized, yeah. Honestly, yeah. Serialized Moogle, serialized Chocobo, serialized Phoenix Downs.
Oh,
like that's what I would do. Like items.
Yeah, right. Because it has to be serialized items.
It has to be something that shows up in all the games. So you would want like Phoenix Downs or like Curaga or something like that, right?
It can't be. Don't get me wrong. I know that all the Sephiroth fanboys are like, yo, 1 out of 1 Sephiroth. But like Sephiroth is not in every game, right? So whereas a Phoenix Down is. That. So actually, a Phoenix Down would be pretty good, actually, as I think about that, right?
Really hot.
Yeah, like a Phoenix
Down,
a Buster Blade.
Every single one of them, man.
Yeah, that'd actually be brilliant. I am so curious what it'd be.
It would have to be things like, it would have to be something like items or like materia maybe, or some kind of like, or like a summons. Ooh, summons.
Materia borders, right? Like, so.
Oh, right.
So.
There you go.
Right, that'll be the fancy.
I would bet summons would be the other thing I would pick. Like, think about getting a serialized Bahamut.
Oh,
right?
Everybody wanted Bahamut. Wait, hold on.
Come on, man.
Bahamut, though. Okay, if they want it to sell, I bet you it's a Chocobo, though. A Chocobo or a Moogle. What's cuter? What's the cutest thing in Final Fantasy? It's a Chocobo or a Moogle, right? So,
right.
Although Moogles are meant to be annoying, right? So that's why maybe they won't do that. But Chocobos?
Wark, baby.
I think it's Chocobos.
It's got to be a Chocobo, right? Like, it's got to be like, but I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm really excited to see because, like, what would be your dream UB? Like, what do you want?
I think this is it's almost too, well, okay. You would never guess this, but they just announced the Evil Dead secret layer. And I made an Evil Dead themed deck. I made my current Scarab God deck. I made it all black and white. I got as many of the double features as I could, and I got as many things to reference Evil Dead as possible. So when I saw that secret lair, I'm like, yo, Magic, what are you high on right now? Because that supply is good, right? Because they are hitting niches I didn't even imagine. Like, who would have guessed that they would hit Evil Dead? It's not like Evil Dead is like, like Saw or any of those big franchises, right? Evil Dead
is the most
niche.
cult nerdy fandom there is, man.
Yeah, and then Princess Bride, right?
Princess Bride is the one that shocked me. I was like,
I don't know what's going on.
Like, really?
Yeah, that blindsided me.
Like Flight of the Navigator? What are we doing here, man? Like, oh my God, give me an Indiana Jones secret lair.
Dude, at this point, it's possible, though, right? Because they just hit Evil Dead, man.
We're getting Jurassic Park and friggin' Ixalan.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know it will never happen, though. Like, okay, so I love Evil Dead. That would definitely be one of my things, right? I wanted it in an Innistrad Godzilla border, right? But, okay, this is so
give me one
unlikely.
movie, one video game, and one anime.
Oh, one movie? Okay.
Yeah.
They're kind of like a lot of movies, but Marvel movies.
That's why I'm telling you one.
Okay, but you know what? I want a Marvel movie.
Okay, fine.
Give me the Avengers,
Marvel.
right? But,
sure.
But like, I know it's cheating because I'm using the umbrella of it, but like, I know it'll never happen. But I would absolutely kill to see Marvel.
I'm sure Morrow would just explode if he got to do a Marvel Magic set. God, it would be
how
over.
Sick would that? Okay, tell me that set would not be okay. I have this question for you. Lord of the Rings. They sold an astronomical number of product for Lord of the Rings. It was the best-selling set. All right, so let's say they made Marvel. Do you think Marvel... I'm already going to say this now. I don't think Final Fantasy will beat it. I do think, though... Do you think Marvel could beat Lord of the Rings?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
I think if they were able to get the license from Marvel, we wouldn't see a Marvel secret lair. We would see a Marvel game. It would be built on the Magic engine, but it would be a separate whole-ass product.
I think it'd be okay, but assuming they didn't make it a whole separate product, right? Let's just say they made it a set, like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, then it would gangbusters, man. Are you kidding me?
You think it would, you think it'd do better than Lord of the Rings?
I don't know, because Lord of the Rings had the one of One Ring pushing a lot, and also Lord of the Rings is kind of one of the hottest things of all time.
Right?
Right? Like, it's Lord of the Rings. Even if you're a hater of Lord of the Rings, you still know Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Right? Like,
but what about the Cosmic Cube, right? You make it a 1 out of 1 Cosmic Cube or something like that.
It would be the 1 out of 1 Glove of Thanos or something.
Yeah, the Gauntlet, right?
Gauntlet.
Or you would
That's how
have
much of a Marvel
Infinity
dude I am.
Stones, right? You'd have the Infinity Stones as rare.
Like, honestly, if I would kill for an X-Men set, not Marvel all out. Just give me the X-Men.
Okay.
That would be like, hell yeah, let's go. But, like, for me, I want to see Star Wars.
Oh,
like, I know it's base. I know it's super just generic, but
Isn't
love
that like
Star
the most
Wars.
popular altar? Like, I remember all the time you go to altars, like you go to artist booths, you check their altars. What's the number one altar that everybody wants? Star Wars.
Everybody's got a Star Wars something.
Yeah.
Give me a sword of light and shadow, except as a lightsaber. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, like, okay. Do you think Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Marvel, of those three, what would be the best-selling set?
Before episode 9 came out, I would have said Star Wars and I wouldn't have thought about it. And I think, honestly, Star Wars is still really, really high. People love Star Wars. Like, casuals love Star Wars. Normal people love Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'd say Star Wars is actually bigger than Marvel, honestly. I mean, the Marvel movies have made more money, but Star Wars is like...
It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
Okay.
It's Star Wars. I mean, I think it would be close.
Okay, you think it'd be close. Well, between Marvel and Star Wars, so you think those two would just leapfrog and jump well past Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings sold a lot.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings sold a lot.
Lord of the Rings
That's my
sold
thing.
a lot.
So, obviously, listeners, I'd love to hear what you think too, right? Like at some point, you let Shim and I know.
Yeah,
right?
like ping us, man. Tell us where we go. But like, oh man, I don't know. Like, the thing is weird is like now I want them to do like super obscure like Korean dramas or whatever as secret layers.
The Arrested Development secret layer.
Oh,
okay.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let's Weekend at Bernie's the secret layer. Like, no, come on.
Dude, come on though. That'd be kind of funny. Or Tobias Funke as Funke as a...
Oh my god. But like I would want to see Star Wars. And video game wise, like we already got like Final Fantasy, we already got Street Fighter. So it's like, where would I go from there? And honestly, like it's hard. Like, but you know what I want? I want a Legend of Zelda Magic set.
Okay.
Jim
Of the Spike Feeders would be ripping through his clothes, jumping up and down for that.
Oh yeah, you know it, man. Like Zelda, but wouldn't it be hot though? Like Link, it would be so sick. It would be so sick.
Sure. I think I got bad news for you, though. I haven't liked a Zelda game since Majora's Mask.
You know, all opinions are held.
Even if they're wrong, right? Look,
even if they're wrong.
Look in your eyes was like, even though they're wrong, all opinions.
I accept that some people are just haven't seen the light yet. That's
yeah,
fine.
I get it. Thank you for being so lenient.
But like, think about it. I mean, how sick would a Mario be? Just even straight Super Mario Brothers.
I mean... Like, you know what? We are getting closer and closer to Super Smash Bros. So
right? We really, really are. We can have Ryu versus...
Yeah, you have Ryu versus, like, Link versus Mario.
Well, I mean, we had the artist from Metal Gear Solid already do a secret layer.
Yoji Shinkawa do MGS was sick.
Those are so hot.
Yeah.
God, they're so good.
I think... Okay, so your video game would be Zelda.
Yeah, what about you?
I think my video game, okay, you already heard me talk about it. I want Resident Evil. That's my favorite game franchise. I will not like falter on that. I want that.
RE is really, I mean, I'm poking at you, but those games are really, really good.
Yeah, where else are you going to get some terrible one-liners, dude?
Dude.
We're talking some bad writing, but I
think
love
it would be actually I don't know if I could get a whole set out of that, but I would definitely get a secret layer out of that.
Dude, I don't know if you played Resident Evil 5. But like,
was that the one in Africa?
Yeah. Well, like, yeah. Well, then imagine they make a card, Boulder Punch, right? Which is totally hilariously campy on its own. But dude, Boulder Punch, a fight spell that also shatter. It can shatter artifacts.
Okay, but would they call it Resident Evil or would they call it Biohazard?
Oh, you
would
what?
have to have a card called Biohazard.
I think it would be Resident Evil, and then you could have a card called Biohazard. Yeah, like that'd be cool, right? Like
that'd be hot. Like,
I want to maybe they make a set eventually down the line, but a freak science project gone wrong, right? A whole set. And like I know that there's similar overlap with like Stitcher's things, right? But like have it follow Stitcher, have him be the main character of this plane, have him go down that line, go into a world of wild science experiments and like 5-headed like whales or sharks or something, right? And dude,
Island of Dr. Moreau stuff.
That'd be cool, right?
Yeah, it would be super cool. It'd be horrific. It would be awesome.
Yeah, nothing but
it feels like
mutations.
It would be like one of the. It would be like the Unset, but less comic.
Yeah, darker, not comedy, right? So give us like the campy horror vibes. That I'm here for. And then what was the last one? Did you say a show?
Yeah, an anime.
Oh, easy. Jujutsu Kaisen.
Or
Jujutsu Kaisen or Yu Yu Hakusho. Those are I will stand by those to my grave. Easy ports.
Like, look, I'm a Dragon Ball stan, but lifelong. I want a Dragon Ball set, but I don't think it would work because the characters are too strong. So,
anime
like playing
power creep
all over again.
Anime power creep would definitely make it hard to balance these cards.
But it would have to be like Dragon Ball, the original, when they were still just normal people and haven't gone Super Saiyan. But if you make a Dragon Ball set and they don't go yellow hair, people are going to be like, why would you do that? Blah, 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 blah. So then...
So what you're saying is
as long as we don't get something like, Detective Boy Conan.
Shin-chan?
Okay. What would be the worst anime Universe Beyond you could think of?
Honestly, I think it could be like Shin-chan or something like that.
Shin-chan.
Like that would be really bad because the art would just be like, it's like
Doraemon,
stasis.
the Universe
Dude,
Beyond.
look, the stasis art. It's the stasis art all over the place, but animated, right?
The Sanrio.
Yeah.
Sanrio.
Yo, hold on, wait.
Although Agaretico would be hot.
I would kind of mess with the Gudetama secret layer. Right? Like, that'd be kind of funny. This depressed egg goes through the multiverse.
Jesus Christ.
And just slays everyone.
Universes beyond.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Give me just big squishy stuffed animals.
You know, one thing I also wanted to talk about was also just like all of these things, right? All these IPs. Let's say we got them all. At what point, right? Like, you know, because I know we wanted to talk about conventions and the MagicCons, right? So like, let's kind of like work our way into that real quick, right?
Sure.
How cool would it be, right? After all of these universes beyond, right? We get giant, I don't know, Optimus Primes, all these statues, all these things at MagicCons, and like, because since MagicCons have been happening this past year, I think for the most part I've been to all of them. I think you've been to a good chunk of them as well.
I've been to everyone but Barcelona.
Okay, yeah, so we've been to pretty much like all of them, right?
Did you get to go to Spain?
I did. So
jerk.
It was very hot, but like I will say that these now feel like cons, right? They feel like full-blown cons that celebrate the game, right? And as Magic gets more things into its like under its umbrella of Magic the Gathering, how cool is that? Then we could actually have a 10th Doctor or David Tennant show up at a MagicCon. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
I want to.
That would be so cool. I mean, look, we had the TARDIS in Vegas.
We did.
That was hella cool. And like, you know, I love that. First off, the vibe of these places has just been incredible. It just feels so good to be in the gathering and hanging out. I mean, all these things coming in, it is gathering. We're gathering all these different IPs and worlds into the Magic umbrella. And like, I mean, you're right. The last ones have felt so much like real anime cons. We've got Dealer's Room. We've got panels. I did like 3 panels, for God's sakes. I'm never doing that again, but it was really cool. But like, it's just been so amazing. And I would love to see more pop culture just come into this, because we're not just Magic fans. We're people who live in this world and love all these things.
Right.
It'd be hella cool to see all these other things show up. Like, I don't know about you, but I would die if Yoshaka Amano showed up at a MagicCon.
Dude, if you walk in and there's a giant like Buster Sword at the center of the hall, like, you know what I mean? Or a chocobo to ride.
Right? I mean, we're already doing that standing next to Huatley on the cool dinosaur.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to ride the dinosaur. That thing's awesome.
You know what this reminds me of? Did you ever attend a San Diego Comic-Con?
I have not.
Old San Diego, so the last one I went to was like 2010, right? I think that was the first year they had black on black planeswalkers come out at the Hasbro booth, right?
Right.
But there were like these there's a giant Sorin display, Jace and Chandra, and like there was all this stuff around it, right? And I'm wondering at what point with enough IPs could we kind of just replicate that? How that
would be hot,
right? Like, dude, we may not have a Hall H or anything like that, but like, dude, it would be so cool if you go in and you just have this giant like Jason, Sorin, whatever, welcoming you in, and then at one corner you've got like the Buster Sword, you've got Cloud, the other side you've got the TARDIS, you've got a giant T-Rex, like, you know, it's like, what's going on? I don't know.
Let's go, man. I mean, dude, we're already living in a game where I can have a T-Rex piloting a race car, right? Like,
that happened before UB, by the way, anyone. So you can't be like, this is why UB.
Kaladesh, Namaket, and Ixalan were all in the same standard. I'm just saying, you can have T-Rexes and mummies driving cars together.
Or an Emrakul piloting a smuggler's copter.
Oh, Jesus Christ. There's your nightmare right there. Shoved into the little...
Yeah, just Emrakul crammed inside, right?
Tentacles coming after God, that's so terrible. That's such a horrific image.
But
just
see, so your immersion...
through the sky. All right, well, where's my Emrakul / jellyfish from Mario? That's the clone I want.
SpongeBob, secret lair, jellyfishing, Emrakul. Boom. I made it. I've done it. You're welcome, Wizards. You don't even have to pay me for that one. That's on the house.
Found the bottom. No, it's like then we're going to get like the Doug. The Doug secret lair.
Quail Man.
Give me my Patty Mayonnaise Legends.
Yo, where's Roger? Give me my Roger. Roger's
Mr. Wizard
bullying,
World,
like, I don't know, Garrick.
Right? Give me my 1980s Nickelodeon trash secret lair.
I mean,
Mr. Ed.
we're not far from that. You know what? My bold prediction is I could see us within the next 10 years get a Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network set. We're not that far.
Oh, dude, Adventure Time is just ripe for this.
Yeah. Adventure Time literally also has a card game.
That's basically based on Magic.
Yeah, you floop the thing instead of tapping.
Oh, right.
Which
yeah,
is
you
the
floop
same
the pigs
thing.
or whatever.
Yeah, you floop the pigs.
Dude, I would kill for like new She-Ra as a card game or as a set, or like the new Voltron that came out was so good. I would kill for that. Or frankly, any of these really good cartoons. Where the hell's our Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Oh, yeah,
Kess would die.
That's coming. That's got to be on its way.
You know,
right?
it's
That's
coming.
on.
It's got it, right? Like, it's just such a home run. Well, maybe not. It's 4 factions versus 5. It's a little complicated, but who cares? They'll figure it out.
That's not up to us to decide.
That's not our problem.
They could do it. They're the ones good at it, right?
So how has your year been, Crim? You've gone to every event. You've seen people all over the world. What's it been like?
Dude, okay. Yeah, like the cons have felt, as I told you, like a con. And it feels crazy that you and we go to these as special guests, right?
Right. How is that even the world we live in?
They just sent out the email, right, for like Chicago, and I realized, hey, that's me in the thing. That's my blue head in that thing. And it's just like, it's so nuts because all we do is just play Magic, right? And it's at the end of the day, we make videos, we play Magic, you know, and then we put the content out there and we share our love with y'all, right? And you kind of like enjoy it with us. And for us to like for the content that we make to touch the people like in the ways that it has been insane. I've had, like, as you know, we tried so hard to hang out in Vegas, but both you and I were so busy. You had your panels. I was doing meet and greets. I was meeting the Goldfish like supporters, right, and hanging out with my community in Discord, right. These events are so much fun, and it's so crazy that all this comes from just us. It starts with us just playing Magic. So the first thing I want to say is thank you, because thank you to everyone, you know, that helps us. Just thanks to people who support it. I am now in Barcelona, able to do what I'm doing, right? Like thanks to them, I'm in Barcelona, I'm in Vegas, I'm in Philly, I'm in, you know, Minneapolis, all these places I would never go to, right? like when we started this, I'm sure when you started playing Magic, when I started playing Magic, would you have guessed in like 20 some years that we would be
I'd still be playing Magic?
Yeah.
No.
playing Magic to a point where like now we play Magic for others in a weird way. Is that not nuts? Like, I think that's pretty nuts.
No, keep talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like, I think that was pretty nuts in its own. So, having gone to so many of these events now, I love it. I'm addicted. I want to go to every MagicCon that Magic will have me at, right? Like, I want to go to every one of these. I want to meet every single person. I want to just play games and hang out with every single person that I can, right? Because I've met so many people, and it's just, I don't know, you really feel the gathering at these cons, because it's like a culmination of your work has come together, and now you get to meet everyone along the way. And then also the friends that you've made online are now like in person, right? You're like, oh my God, it's you. Let's hang out, right? Like, yeah, let's do this. Let's chill between whatever in whatever free time we have, right?
You know what's funny as hell? I saw Seth. We were staying in the same hotel even, and I saw Seth at the platform on the first day of Vegas, and I turned to him, and I got to meet Richard for the first time, for the dude who created Goldfish or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're sitting and chatting, and me and Seth turned to each other, and we're like, we'll get a game in this year. And then we both started laughing, because it's our traditional next year in Jerusalem. You know, it's like,
yeah.
That's the last time I saw him the whole con. It's literally that first subway ride into the show.
That man is insanely busy.
Like, I don't know how he does it. He's like, I'm just going to sit down and play Commander with everybody. I'm like, you are Saffron friggin' Olive. You can't do that. You are going to be mobbed. But you know what I was looking for right now? I stole a sign from Vegas, which was from one of the panels, which said Shivam and Wheeler live.
Yeah.
There was a room full of people who came to watch me and Ben Wheeler sit and talk about Magic cards for an hour. They could have been doing anything in that place, and they decided they wanted to do it with me, and I got a sign with my name on it.
Yeah.
That is insane to think about. That's like just unbelievable to me. Like that, I mean, I remember the first event I went to after I became a content creator, and it was just like people could recognize my voice randomly, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever." Like, I can't believe this. That wow, you listened. That's amazing. Thank you. And now people are just like stopping me in buffets or stopping me randomly in the Vegas area. Who are just like, "Oh my god, I'm such." So a few weeks ago, my wife and I went to Portland with my kid for fall break, and we were just hanging around. We were going to the Rose Garden, just taking a vacation, and we stopped by Mox boarding house because we're just like, we want to just play some games. It's raining, and we sit there and we're checking out some games. And while they're getting the games, like the entire staff of that Mox boarding house comes up and is like, by the way, we didn't want to bother you since we know you're with your family, but we're huge fans and thank you so much for everything you do. I'm like, and my wife and kid are standing there and they turn to me and their eyes are wide and they're like, Papa, are they talking about you? And I'm like, yeah, I guess they are. I was like, what the hell? I mean, look, okay, it's fair. The one place in the world I expect to get recognized would be Mox Boarding House. But, like, come on, though. It's still unbelievable to me that, like, people care enough to want to spend any amount of, like, to want to share any of their time with us.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you could be doing anything. We live in a world where you got infinite choices. And any time you guys spend with us is just, like, incredibly moving.
Yeah.
And, like you help us get away with not having real lives. And it's just like, it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's pretty much this it's like same sentiment, like, you know, from coming from me too, right? Like, it's like unreal. So I've loved these events. I've loved the fact that it allows us to connect with our community and then also just see where Magic has gone. You know, like, Magic is in a way different place, and some people hate it. Some people love where it's gone. I am on the camp of, yo, this is dope, right? Like, I want to see where Magic continues to go, how it continues to evolve.
Exactly.
I mean,
I just love seeing, like, the first Magic events I went to were, like, all dudes. Maybe a couple of ladies somewhere in the back, a couple of casuals somewhere in the back, mainly all grinders up front. Now we see families. Yeah. We see people of all genders and races walking around. We see pods of people who are just every shape and size, just having a grand old time. And it's just like, we have finally broken through that weird stigma we had of, like, you know, dark rooms with dank, serious people. And now, like, I can go watch the World Championships, say hi to, like, Reed Duke and LSV and whatever, and then go back and be like playing my scrub tier Magic, and we're in the same room. Yeah. And we're in the same room, and there's artists, and there's everything. It feels like we've found a place where we can belong, and that's incredible to me. It's so cool. It's so much fun. And, like, everybody comes out of there feeling good. And we've, like I like to say, the cure about talking for Magic is actually playing Magic, and going to these events really just helps you, like, it's weird because, like, when I go to the cons, I don't get to play Magic because I'm too busy, you know, talking to people or whatever. But then when you and I show up at, like, a Command Fest in, like, Richmond or somewhere, then we can actually sit and play because, like, we're just scrubs playing Magic now. It's good times.
It's so much fun, right? Like, and, like, yeah, like this past con, I don't know, like, I've been jamming. I think our like, to give a simple look at how, like, my days go at these cons, I wake up, I get a coffee and, like, maybe an apple. I get onto the floor, I meet fans, I do the meet and greets, I do whatever, right? And then I just sit there in the command zone and I just play Commander all day long, and then I do the same thing every day. And
you know what? I'm going to start changing my. I'm going to do that next time. No more just, like, going panel to panel to panel. I actually want to. I played 1.5 games of Magic.
I don't even know how you get the 0.5, but I'm glad that happened.
Because I sat down at a table, me, Tappy, Ashlyn, and Light from Wizards. Yeah. And everybody just kept coming and getting us to sign things or taking pictures or whatever. And, like, a third of the way through the game, we're like, you know what? Forget it. I have no idea what's even happening anymore. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna sit and take pictures and sign things instead.
My scatterbrain allows me to still play Magic and do all. I had the same experience, you know, like, just like, hey, somebody comes up, like, you know, and then I sign numerous things, which I love doing. Please, which, by the way, from me personally, I speak for myself. I don't speak for every content creator. If you see me, I will always be down to sign, say hi, grab a photo, whatever.
I have signed so many East Farthing Farmers.
Oh my god, that card is literally,
like, common that looks exactly like me. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go.
That card is literally you.
It is literally me. There's no way it's not. I'm sorry, I refuse to believe.
Yeah.
But I signed so many of them, and I'm like, I will sign until the cows come home. I'm happy to.
I mean, so yeah, like, overall, I think that these events have been good. Really, really good. I think the first one was an atrocious event, right? We had to play outside, do all these things, and like for some odd reason, if you bought a badge, you couldn't play in the command zone, whatever. I'm so glad that they listened. They changed that. Now it feels like it's funny that we had that as our first experience, but like, but eventually they got it right, and now it's locked in. And now it's like,
once they realized that you can't charge people for space to play,
that's
when it got a lot better.
Yeah, that weird idea where they thought they could, and it was kind of awkward because that's like, why would I pay to go to the con
here?
Yeah. So yeah, like I'm glad they saw that and that they're changing. And you know what? I as they continue to change, the one thing I've mentioned, right, numerous times to many people, like WotC staff, just people in general, Magic and music have an insane overlap, right? So one of the next year's Vegas, right? So like, let's just go with some of the conventions I've been to before, like TwitchCon, right? One of the years they had Blink-182, they had Logic, and they had Maddie on play, right? Dude, we have literally Post Malone who loves this game. I think the next step, if we wanted to ball
money,
dude, I'm sure he would do it for a fraction, right? He loves this game, right?
Or like the Mountain Goats, or like there's a million musicians who play Magic and love this stuff. I mean, look, if BlizzCon can have Metallica, surely a MagicCon can have somebody.
I don't know how they managed to do that, but
I know that must have cost them a lot of money, but
let's
maybe we're not going to get a Metallica, but we can get Post Malone.
Yeah, let's again, Posty, if you're listening, please just do it at a discounted rate. I would love to hear music at a con, right?
Did you go to the Elijah Wood party?
I did.
It was rad.
It was interesting. It was interesting.
Okay,
I'm not a fan of
I just like 80s music a lot, so I was in my element.
Yeah.
For us old folks, it was rad.
I'm just, I could respect it. I thought it was cool. The novelty of seeing Elijah Wood DJ, it's funny.
Yeah.
But like, I do want I
got to see
more
Shota
music.
Yasaoka dance.
That's
like
that's wild.
I don't know what to say about that. Like Andrea Mengucci and Shota Yasaoka are just dancing, and I'm like, this is like two of my favorite players of all time are just cutting a groove to Elijah Wood DJing. I don't know what happened.
But imagine that to Posty. That would happen, right? You'd have like Rockstar, people would sing along. Posty might even write an intro, a theme song like he did for Pokemon, who knows?
Or he did for Rescue Rangers.
Yeah.
Did you hear his ending theme song to the Rescue Rangers live action movie?
No, I did not.
And if you haven't seen the Rescue Rangers live action movie, watch it. It is way better than you think it is. It is super surreal and sarcastic and really, really funny. It's also it's like the best movie nobody saw, because why would you watch a live action Rescue Rangers or like the CG version of Rescue Rangers? It's hella good. And he did like a super dark wave version of like the theme song, and it's just sick.
I didn't even know that existed. I heard about it, but I hadn't listened to it.
Do you remember how they used to have the CG of Ugly Sonic with the weird teeth before they fixed him and made him look like gimpy? Yeah. Well, they took the original model of Ugly Sonic and brought him into this movie as a character.
They bought the rights to that?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Because basically Rescue Rangers, which is Chip and Dale, the two characters, the chipmunks from Disney, Chip is living his 2D life. Dale has gotten plastic surgery to modernize himself into a CG character. And he's trying to talk to Chip, and he'd be like, yo, bro, we got to get with the times. You got to clean up and look like for the kids. And it's hilarious. It is absolutely the most biting commentary on aging and Hollywood and cartoons. And it's like, I don't know how Disney let you get away with this, but it's ridiculous.
It's
utterly ridiculous.
As long as Disney allows stuff like that to be made, that's pretty cool.
Dude, 2 hours or whatever, an hour and a half worth your time. Oh my God. But speaking of time, man, we didn't even get to talk about the other thing we were going to talk about, which is like, we're both MTG ambassadors, and that's a really cool and fun thing.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later.
There's always more time.
There's always more, man. You and I could probably just talk about things all day forever.
We know that.
Which is why I enjoy it.
We know that for a fact, because I think the last time I was here, we didn't monitor how long we were just going for, and then it turns out we just had rambled for like well over like an hour and a half or something.
We went for, but even in the lobby of a random hotel in Richmond or whatever, when we were sitting there just yelling at each other for like 4 hours.
We just had, it was like 3 a.m., 2 a.m., and we were just having anime discussions and progression of anime and where it went. And
it was
over a game of like Dan
seminar.
which like took the back seat. We were playing Dan and like talking about anime, dude.
That's still, I think, one of my favorite moments in just one of these Magic events of just you, me, Dan, and just talking about anime for like 4 hours.
Nothing like anime and Dan. You know what I mean?
God bless, dude. It's such a good time.
That's the
All right,
like
buddy.
seriously.
If people wanted to find you, see you, do whatever, where do they go?
You can find all my content at MTGGoldfish.com, and of course, you can find me live streaming at twitch.tv/TheAsianAvenger, and that's the same handle I do on every bit of social media. If there's a social media app that people are using, whatever, I'm probably
Have you moved
on
to
it.
the Blue Skies or Masters yet?
Neither of those. I've moved to Threads. So, because, dude, all of those are so. At this point, I don't care about like what happens. If Twitter goes down, Twitter goes down. I'm not going to the other things. But you can find me at Instagram, and of course, the main ways are just like YouTube, Twitch. Those are the best ways. And yeah,
Cool. As always, my friends, you can find me at Gearpuri Gears or on Cool Stuff Inc. every Tuesday when this podcast comes out, or anywhere on your podcatchers, or on YouTube on every Tuesday, thanks to my editor, EK. You can also find me on Shivam and Wheeler Love Magic, or my other podcast, Chronicles of Dragonlance. And I should probably put my Patreon somewhere in there, because, like, thank you to all of you people who help us do these things. It's awesome. And as always, my friends, it's not Magic without the gathering, and we will see you next time.